So you got the kids back in school, but how do you get your kids to study? That's today at Live on Purpose TV. So to start into this video, I think we need to have a little conversation right up front about what your job is as a parent. So think about that for just a minute. What is your job as a parent? Now, I get a lot of really great answers to this here in my office. Some parents will say, well, it's to provide for my kids and to keep them safe and to make sure that they have everything that they need. And then it goes from there on to some really kind of cool things like, well, it's to help them be happy in life and to have a successful experience in life and to become productive citizens who contribute in meaningful ways. Isn't that awesome? And yes, I think those are all great answers. I'm going to throw a little wrench in it here. And we're going to back up, okay? Your job as a parent is to love them no matter what and even if. No matter what and even if. So we can play the even if game if you want. Even if they're not productive citizens, yes, your job is still to love them. Even if they're incarcerated, yes. Even if they're incarcerated. Even if they choose a lifestyle that I don't agree with, that violates our family values. Yes. Even if they choose a lifestyle you don't agree with and that violates your family values. Are we clear about this? Your job as a parent is to love them no matter what and even if. As you wrap your head around that, then everything else I can share with you is going to be a helpful tool and a resource. If you forget about your job as a parent, then everything I'm sharing with you is no more than manipulation and psychological games. I want to be clear about that because I feel this is so important for parents to understand their job because you don't control all of those outcomes. To make sure that they're happy, oh, that sounds really great, and I think it comes from the best place in your heart, but it's not within your control to make sure that they're happy, to make sure that they pass school. I had a mom here on my couch who said, oh, well, what am I supposed to do then? Just let him fail? She meant about school. And I'm thinking, really? You think you control that? What do you mean let him fail? As if she could decide whether he does or he doesn't. You know, and sometimes we intervene way too much as parents because we think our job is to make sure that they don't fail. Now, having said that, I'm going to come back to that probably because that's really important to me. Your job is to love them no matter what and even if. So let's stay clear about that. Now, because we love them. We want them to be happy, right? Because we love them. What do you want for the people you love? Well, you want them to be happy. Because we love them, we want them to succeed in school. Why? Because their life is better if they succeed in school. Sure, it's going to impact your life as a parent, but let's get out of the way. Okay, this is not about you. This is about your kids. So how do I get my kid to study? Or to do their homework, or to turn in their assignments or perform well in school. Okay, let's do some strategizing there. Why? Because we love them and we want their life to rock. Sure, our life will be better, but that's only peripheral. Okay, that's secondary. Don't get too focused on this is about you or it reflects on you as a parent. If that's where you're coming from, then we need to have another conversation. Get out of the way. This is not about you. This is about your kid. Okay, and because you love them, you want them to succeed. I know I'm probably overemphasizing that, but that's how important it is. Okay, now let's go to the strategies. Because we love them, we want them to have a great experience in life, including being successful in school. Think about your own experience. How important has it been for you to learn to do the hard things now so that you can have an easier life later on? Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. So depending on your child's level of maturity. Now, I did another video where I gave you a model. We talked about 3 different stages of maturity. You can link to it right up here. And in that video, you learn to discern what stage is my child on. This is important because what stage they're on is going to determine what kind of strategy you're going to use to encourage them to do their job. If they're on stage 1, you're going to use consequences, and specifically the kind of consequences that don't require cooperation. If they're on stage 2, then you're going to use some communication along with consequences to help encourage them to do what their job is. If they're on stage 3, you don't have to worry about it. They're just taking care of it, and you're observing from the sidelines. So that's a really important thing to review. Beyond that, here's what I'm thinking. If you have a strong enough why, you'll figure out the how. And this is true for you. It's also true for your kids. Why should your kids go to school? Why should your kids do their homework? Why should your kids turn in that assignment? If their only reason is because mom's going to clobber me if I don't, that's not a strong enough why. And you're going to be having this battle for their entire school experience, okay? Until they come up with a why. Once the kid has a why, then that drives their behavior, provided that they're mature enough to be there. That's why I wanted you to review that other video. Now, the why, you know what? There's a story that illustrates this really well. And my friend Art Coombs, who is a fabulous author and leadership expert and speaker, shared this story with me. I'm going to let him share that story with you. So as we help our kids to find or identify their own why, it's not going to be the same one that we have. Okay, so I think that's important to notice. We have our own why about why our kids should study, right? But that doesn't always translate over to them. So
Absolutely.
This is my friend Art Coombs. Art is the author of Don't Just Manage, Lead, which has kind of a fun little quote there at the top by Paul H. Jenkins. And that wasn't a decision either of us made, but I really like the content. And this one, Human Connection, Art is a really experienced, almost sagely.
Yeah, right. Yoda-ish.
But Art, you shared a story with me about helping kids to find their own why. Mm-hmm. Would you just share that with our audience today?
Sure. I've got four children, and 2 of them are in junior high, and my son is 14 years old. And we're constantly wrestling in our family with homework. And in today's environment, you literally can go on and you can see if they're missing assignments.
Yeah.
So a few semesters go by, and I'm saying, have you done your homework? Have you done your homework? And I'm getting, yes, it's all done. Everything's good. We're all taken care of. But when the grades come out, obviously
it would seem otherwise.
Yes, there's other things happening. So anyway, my son and I are having this constant sort of wrestling match with why do we do our homework? And for probably a year, I was trying to manage him by saying, go into your room, do your homework, and you're not coming out until this is done. Mm-hmm. And managers love that. It's an easy way to deal with kids. It requires less effort. Yeah. And I was really all about the who, where, when, how.
By when, how much.
Yeah.
All the numbers.
And all of a sudden it hit me, and I was threatening. I was using threats. I would take away iPhones, or I resorted to bribes. I would pay them for good grades. And
Disclaimer, we don't necessarily endorse threats at Live on Purpose TV.
Hey,
right? We do it, though.
It's every parent.
You're desperate.
Every parent does it. I'm going to take away, you can't play football, or you can't be on the wrestling team, or you can't be in the choir. I'm going to take away something you like, something you excel at, actually, and that's the sad part. I'm going to take it away. I'm going to take away your iPhone. I'm going to take away your Xbox. I'm going to take away friends. I'm going to ground you. if you don't behave the way I want you to behave.
Right.
And to me, that was getting nowhere, absolutely nowhere. The bribes and paying for grades, I think helped a little bit, but I still was not getting the results. So all of a sudden it hit me, I wasn't giving my son the why.
The why.
And so late one night, I literally went into his room, and it was 2 a.m.
This is middle of the night.
Middle of the night, and I said, Kai, wake up. And he looked at me like I had three heads. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, get up. I'm going to give you the why. And he goes, Dad, it's 2 a.m. Mm-hmm. And I said, this will only take about 15, 20 minutes. Come on, get up. Mm. And he got dressed, and we drove down to Walmart. And I said, Kai, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or diss anybody.
Right. It's not what you're about.
It's not what I'm trying to do here. But I do want to give you a feeling of what will happen if you do not study and you don't do your homework. I guarantee you the individuals you're going to see pushing the brooms and restocking the shelves did not in junior high say, when asked, what do you want to do when you grow up? I promise you not one of them said, stock shelves at 2 a.m. in the morning. But because they made decisions early in their life, this is what they're limited to. Their options are here. These are individuals who chose not to do their homework. I can promise you that.
And incidentally, thankfully, that is available to people.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate option.
And we walked through the store, and I said, Kai, if this is what you want to do, I love you. And I hope you stock the shelves better than anybody else. I hope you really push the broom with pride.
And it says, Dad, you love him no matter what, and even if.
I'll love you no matter what.
Beautiful.
But my gut is telling me this is not what you envision your life being like. My gut is telling me that you want to own your own business. You want to be a consultant. You want to be a dynamic cinematographer. You want to be a developer. There's so many things you could do. Mm. And this isn't one of them. But you're on a path that leads you here. He was quiet. We drove home. He was quiet all the way home. And he said, Dad, I'll focus on my school better. I'll work harder.
If he's not doing it for you.
No, not doing it for me. I still think the bribes help just a little bit.
Well, you know what? And I think the reason that's true is because we're getting closer to providing a why.
I do.
That makes sense to them. It's not about us. It's not about our why.
I do. And I tried to tell them. I said, hey, in my job, and I think in most everybody's job, if you do an exceptional work, you get rewarded exceptionally.
Yeah.
If I do mediocre work, if I do what everyone else can do, I'm going to get paid like everyone else.
Like everyone else, right.
If I do poor work, I either don't get the job, or I often sometimes it can turn into a negative where people are now
it's going to cost you.
It's going to cost me.
Yeah.
So, and we do that. I have a certain amount that I pay my kids for an A, and then it drops radically for a B, and it drops even more radically for a C. And then if it's D or an F, they pay me.
Pay you. This is so powerful. Thank you, Art, for sharing that story. I knew that would fit in just really nicely as we're talking about how do you get your kids to study or do anything else that really requires their why, not our own.
I like to put the money, so what they could earn if they got straight A's, I stack it up, and to a 14 and 13-year-old, it looks like a lot of money.
Well, it is to them.
And I give it to them. And I say, This is yours. This is yours. You can have this.
This is what's on the table.
This is what's on the table. Mm-hmm. And then we put it in a box we call the bank.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the semester, we divvy it up.
We reconcile the bank account.
We reconcile the bank account.
According to the report card.
According to the report card. Now, the other important thing is, I'm there constantly saying, I will help you. If you want straight
You're the
A's,
resource.
if you want straight A's, I'll help you. I won't do your homework, but I will help you every single night. If you want straight A's, we can do it. We can do it. So.
Didn't you love that story? When you have a strong enough why, you'll figure out the how. If you're new here, please subscribe. We're having a lot of fun at Live on Purpose TV.